Hello and welcome to the Virtual Jewish Thought of the Week. This is Rabbi Dan Lewin speaking to you from downtown Dallas, Texas. Today we're going to look at a story from this week's Torah portion and one of the hidden messages in some extra words. After the famous story of the flood, Noah comes out of the ark, and what's the first thing he does? He drinks wine, he gets drunk, and his three sons find him in a very unbecoming, embarrassing state, but their reactions towards him are a little bit different. Now we're going to look at this passage, and the verse, "And Noah, the man of the earth, debased himself and planted a vineyard. He drank of the wine and became drunk, and he uncovered himself within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father's nakedness and told his two brothers outside. And Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it upon both their shoulders, and they walked backwards and covered their father's nakedness. Their faces were turned backwards, and they saw not their father's nakedness." Now the part we're going to focus on is after they cover their father, it says that Shem and Japheth, that they walked backwards, their faces were turned backward, and they did not see their father's nakedness. The obvious question is, after we're already told twice they walked backwards, their faces were turned backward, isn't it obvious they didn't see their father's nakedness? If they're already walking backwards, that's implicit. They didn't see their father's nakedness. What do these extra words, "they did not see their father's nakedness," tell us? In other words, there has to be some type of extra message, additional message in the last words, "they did not see their father's nakedness," that we can learn something. It cannot be reiterating the same fact. In order to get to this message, let's pause and discuss a topic in Jewish philosophy as presented by the Baal Shem Tov. One of the major principles in the mystical tradition is that everything in the entire universe, from the most important event to the tiniest detail of a blade of grass blowing, a leaf moving, is orchestrated from above. Not only this, the Baal Shem Tov taught that everything happens for a reason. Now, when we're used to hearing this idea that everything happens for a reason, we usually think of this in terms of negative events or events that happen. Don't worry, everything happens for a reason. But the way that he's using this is that everything that we see and hear is some type of instruction, some type of message to us in our lives. The question is, when we see things in other people that bother us, what is the message for us? What are we supposed to do with that? Just walk around in our head and say, "Oh, I saw that in another person, I didn't really like that character trait," and so forth. The Baal Shem Tov taught that the world is a mirror in which you see your own reflection. And when you see ill in someone else, in your fellow, what that really is your own dirt, your own baggage and garbage that you're looking at. And it may not be an obvious similarity, but if you see that flaw, on some level you must have some equivalent trait. Otherwise, you would have never noticed it. So what we're meant to do is to focus inward and to say, okay, if that bothered me about somebody else, if I saw that in somebody else, how can I rectify that same quality in myself? I must contain that flaw, and how do I correct it? And then there's something constructive in that thought that popped in your mind. Now, one may ask, who says? Maybe there's another reason why I see that flaw. Maybe the reason why I saw that is in order to help the person. The answer to this is that it depends on our reaction. If our initial thought is to help the other person and we're capable of helping the other person, then maybe that's why we got that message. Maybe that's why we saw that negative trait. But if our initial reaction is just to be bothered, then that's a sign that the message is not to help the person, but the message is to fix that same trait in ourselves. With this idea, we can return to our story and look at what happened with Noah and his sons. The oldest son, Ham, saw his father in this embarrassing state, and what did he do? He ran to mock him and to tell his brothers, you go take care of it, look what dad did, and so forth. The younger brothers had a completely different reaction, and this is what these extra words, "they did not see their father's nakedness," are telling us. Meaning, not only did their faces were turned backwards, Not only did they not see him physically, but they did not see their father's nakedness in the sense that they did not judge him. They didn't want to see their father in that state. They did only what was necessary to help him, and then the thought, the judgment was out of their mind. So one message that we can learn from this is that when we see things we don't like in other people, we can rechannel that thought and look inwards and see how we can rectify that flaw in ourselves. And number two, there's a common perception that when you can read people, when you can get to know people so well that you see their weaknesses, that's insight. That means that you have a certain talent, and people pride themselves on, yeah, I know people well. But what we're learning here is that there's a higher level. There's a level to be able to see flaws, but to choose not to. And that idea, it's not a question of being naive. That's actually the highest virtue, to be able to see and choose not to see. Thank you for watching, for your time. If you like this, please forward it to anyone you think would be interested. I would love to hear your questions and comments, your feedback. And if you would like to dedicate or sponsor a video, please email me at the address below. I look forward to speaking with you next week.